demands for answers in Mississippi after a 29-year-old mother of four was found dead, hanging from a tree.
We're going to press this as far as we can press it until she gets justice.
Tasa Fortune's body was discovered last week behind a vacant house in Jackson. The family telling ABC News the circumstances surrounding her death do not add up.
Tasa loved living life. Like, there's no way that she took her own life.
Hi, I'm Suri Crow, and thanks for joining me. Tasa Fortune's death is one more in a growing list of suspicious Black deaths in the South, and specifically in Mississippi, which is the state that leads the South with the highest number of lynchings. Tasa was a young mother of four, and she was found hanging from a tree on August 3rd in Jackson, Mississippi. The fire department had to use their hook and ladder truck to get her body down. A local council member is now asking for the U.S. attorney in that region to investigate Fortune's death.
Concerned about a hanging that took place in Jackson, Mississippi. Hanging is an activity, a crime that should never be an issue of being accepted by the public. Hanging must never be an acceptable behavior. Whether you're talking about someone white, hanging somebody black, hanging somebody white, or somebody black hanging somebody black. It's wrong. It's bad. We sent a letter to the U.S. Attorney's Office asking for help to make sure we catch and convict the person or persons involved with hanging a young lady in Jackson, Mississippi.
I have reached out to the Mississippi Medical Examiner's Office, that of Dr. Stacey Turner. She is the same ME who completed the autopsy of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, who disappeared on a boat trip while he was with white friends to Mississippi's Horn Island over the 4th of July holiday. Nolan Wells' autopsy results are complete, but they are sealed pending a grand jury investigation. I asked about cause and manner of death for Miss Fortune, and I have also reached out to the Jackson, Mississippi Police Department several times. In both of those instances, I was told this is an ongoing investigation. And I even called the detective who was investigating Tasa Fortune's death, and I have not heard back from him yet. There are reports that one of Miss Fortune's children's father, a guy by the name of Terrence Anderson, may be a person of interest in her death, but I have not been able to confirm that either.
They have not named any suspects and declined to comment on local reports that they questioned the father of one of Fortune's children about the death. Court records show Terrence Anderson, who's behind bars on an unrelated weapons charge, lives on the same street block where Fortune's body was found.
No one's tried blaming Ted or anything like that. We just want answers.
Detectives testified in court that Anderson did admit to arguing with Tasa shortly before her death, but he apparently denies any involvement in her death. Now, about those two other hangings, 21-year-old Trey Reed was discovered hanging from a tree on the Mississippi Delta State University campus last September. And hours later, Corey Zucaitis, a white 35-year-old houseless man whose dog had been taken from him by the local authorities, his beloved dog, which I just think is horrible. He was found hanging in a tree in the nearby woods. Both of these cases were also ruled suicide by the Mississippi State ME, once again, Dr. Stacey Turner. Trey Reed's family disputes those findings. His mother says that there were other signs of trauma on Trey's body, and they had a second independent autopsy conducted. And after hiring Ben Crump as their attorney, they recently have put out a statement saying that they are still waiting for answers from that independent autopsy via Ben Crump's office. And they haven't heard anything from Mr. Crump's office in months, saying that the lack of communication has only deepened their pain and confusion. And there's the whole statement right there if you want to read it. Reed's friends did report that he was acting out shortly before his death, talking to himself, behaving strangely. And his girlfriend reportedly said that he had been struggling emotionally. Then there's this story of Jackson, Mississippi teen, 15-year-old Chloe McDonald.
I had dreams, and unfortunately, she didn't get to complete her test on her dreams.
Family members say Chloe loved fashion, art, and drawing, and she hoped to one day become a designer.
She designed these boots. Very talented.
Imagine calling detectives, calling the morgue, and getting no answers. That's what Chloe McDonald's mother lived through. The state's top public safety official says the system worked, but admits families deserve better communication.
16 days is a long time, I know, to wait for that kind of answer. But again, we want to make sure that we get that right.
July 20th, Capitol Police found a 15-year-old's body at Shepherd Brothers Park. August 5th, investigators told the family it was Chloe McDonald. 16 days of silence. In Mississippi, DNA confirmation is required before a family is notified. Commissioner Sean Tyndall says that process typically takes 30 to 90 days.
We want to make sure that when we notify a family, it is in fact their loved one. I mean, as you can imagine, it would be a disastrous situation if we got that wrong.
Chloe's mother, Nicomia Quinn, gave detectives photos. Still, DNA was required. And Tyndall says the call to the family should have come from local officials, not the state.
There is an ongoing investigation in that case too. And in the midst of the now viral coverage of Nolan Wells' death investigation, many people are calling out what they perceive to be the negligence in these investigations and even downright cover-ups of Black deaths. There is a change.org petition circulating calling for the removal of Dr. Stacey Turner's medical license because many in the Black community simply do not trust her in determining manner of death and cause of death in these investigations. And this is all happening as Nolan Wells' friends have now lawyered up with a former Trump attorney, Andrew Palcic, who represented Trump in defamation cases. In any event, Warren Hudson, Jax Patalo, Morgan Seymour have set up a Give, Send, Go to raise funds for their so-called defense against what they are calling targeted attacks against them in the aftermath of Nolan's death. And Nolan's death remains under investigation. And just now, Nolan's family, along with their attorney, Ben Crump, and Georgia Democratic Representative Lucy McBath, who is a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, are calling on the feds to get involved in Nolan's death investigation.
As a member of the Congressional Black Caucus, I'm the second vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus. We are demanding a full federal investigation. Kash Patel, we're demanding a full federal investigation as to what has actually happened to Nolan Wells. We want to make sure that every stone is unturned because his life matters. All of our children's and our families' lives matter. And we must fight back. We must stand up and we must demand accountability for this family's loss.
And as I mentioned, once the sheriff's office is done with their investigation in Pascagoula County there, they will turn over the results to a grand jury. And, so just to put this, to wrap it all up, some of these cases, not Nolan Wells, but some of them could well have been suicide. Personally, I find it very odd that somebody would decide to die by suicide by hanging themselves from a tree. And I've just given you just a few cases. There are several of these cases of Black people who have been found hanging from a tree, which smacks of lynching, smacks of KKK activity in the horrible and hideous history of the South. Like, it's still happening. But what people in the Black community are asking for and what they deserve are thorough investigations of these deaths. And it does seem odd to me that Trey Reed and Corey Zukaitis were both found hanging from a tree within hours of each other. Like, that just seems more than coincidental to me, regardless of whether they were both distraught or having emotional problems. I don't know. But That just seems like it bears looking into instead of just like, oh, we're shutting the book, suicide. And in the other cases, these people deserve to have sheriff's deputies, sheriff's departments, and police departments investigate suspicious deaths every bit as much as they would if a young, white, blonde college co-ed disappeared under suspicious circumstances. You hear what I'm saying? That's what they deserve. When I see where police departments and sheriff's departments spend so much of their time, which is harassing people of color, just targeting them, pulling them out of cars, doing all kinds of horrible things. I mean, police brutality is a real thing in America. It's abysmal. It's horrible. There's a reason that so many people do not like police because of the way they behave. Maybe spend some of that energy doing right by people. But there's a lot of cleaning up that needs to be done amongst our nation's police. And that is my opinion. But they all deserve to have investigations that are done thoroughly. And that's all like Nolan Wells, that's all Nolan Wells' family is asking for. That's all the Trey Reed's family is asking for. And you heard the interviews that I just played for you. These people just want justice. They're not accusing any one particular person of doing something. They just want thorough investigations. And that's what they deserve. All the mercy and grace and peace out to these grieving families, to all of them.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.